Okay, guys, check this out. I'm talking about exclusivity and I'm positioning my arguments that exclusivity is basically a dying proposition. It's a dying proposition because those who are making exclusive games, in quote, on the PlayStation and Xbox side are actually pretty much breaking their own code of exclusivity and selling their games elsewhere. PlayStation on PC, Xbox on PC, and PlayStation. To that, I have an audience member that I think is new that tells me and gives me the qualifiers of which games would be exclusive and how PC is, in a sense, following or trailing in this whole thing. And I'll read their comment to you so we can get it, in a better context. They said PC is not getting Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei, Saros, or Intergalactic Day 1. Now, you know what's ironic about these games you listed? At the most recent state of play, the PlayStation exclusives were the minority. Over 20 other games were unveiled to be going to other platforms. Do you truly think that people are going to be bothered with games that they don't have when they have a plethora of games available to them? You answer that question for yourself. And also, there's a side of the PC gamer that probably doesn't care. And many of them are not going to buy the console. PlayStation recognizes this, and this is why pretty much almost all of the PlayStation 5 library is on PC. If Day 1 is the flex that you wish to bring, realize as well that that is not even a flex that you can use. Why? The gaming industry is already saturated. If you're thinking about software, okay? I don't know if you've ever seen this before. If you're thinking about software, the PC community will blow your mind. I mean, it will literally blow your mind. I don't think you've experienced this before. This is a different stage of euphoria that you might not, be able to contend with. In 2023, there were 14,000 games launched on Steam. In 2024, there were 19,000 games, almost 18,942 games that were launched on Steam. A Steam user is looking in January and February, and there've already been 2,000 games launched on PC. You saw the barrage of those games that were on the, these are the much more, bigger budget, bigger presentation games, and they're already showing them by now. Do you really think that any sane player that has access to these games is thinking, oh, I wish I could play Intergalactic? Do you really think so? Because if you didn't mention that game, I have not thought about that game in a long time. Even the PlayStation player base piled upon their Intergalactic game because they're still mad at Druckmann for some reason. I don't know. I guess it's a Last of Us, thing. Then you said Death Stranding 2. Do you know what a meme that game is, bro? And Ghost of Yotei, which its community is also piling on. And then Saros, which is pretty much going to be a game from Housemarque. We know how their games are. But granted, that game's reception was nothing to be hyped about across the board. I mean, go check the temperature of people who you're actually trying to lord these games over and see what they truly think about these games. And you're probably, your world is going to be rocked how much they do not care. If anything, the game that you should probably be even, in a sense, maybe touting with this amount of effect should be a third-party game called GTA 6. Of which even some PC gamers are still divided. Like, maybe I'll buy a console to play it and double dip, and maybe not. Of which that game's not an exclusive anyways. So this talk about exclusivity, trust me, the data is not on your side. You said this. You said exclusives still matter. You said something else. There was something you said. You said PC still has to wait with no guarantee when or if they will get those games. Let me give you a very short snippet. Even though we may not have the guarantees of when we're going to get these games, we do, however, have the guarantee that you PlayStation players and Xbox players will always play these games all day, every day. These games are going to suck money, attention, and time away from your so-called exclusives, thereby leaving them in the dirt when it comes to comparison and sales, and leaving the first-party holders of the publishers and the publishers of those games yearning for income. And then they look at PC and say, well, we don't see you guys as a threat, so we're going to put our games on there. We can't guarantee that those games are going to come to PC or when they're going to come to PC, but one thing that we've seen that we can almost guarantee is that next week The top 3 games are probably going to be Call of Duty, Fortnite, and Marvel Rivals on PlayStation. Well, let's not guarantee it, but we can bet with a high level of certainty that this is the behavior of the console player. Now look at the Steam side. Help me out so that we can kind of see what you're, again, let's scrutinize this thing very well. If you look on Steam side, it's a weird bunch of gamers there. I don't know what is wrong with them. They're not conformists. They're over here playing Path of Exile and Helldivers 2. They're over here playing a live service PlayStation game as number 3. They've been playing that game since last year. They've been carrying that game. Marvel Rivals is number 1. Counter-Strike is number 2, is always in the top 3. Balatro, Path of Exile, Rocket League, Baldur's Gate 3, all the games that you called and, just listed so far from the PlayStation lineup, none of them even has the RPG-esque depth of Baldur's Gate 3, which is one of the games that PC players are really into and PlayStation doesn't make. PlayStation doesn't even understand a PC platform, or maybe they do and they just realize that if they pursue that platform, they'll leave their console players in the dust because most of your console players don't even play or are not necessarily too in tune with those games. It's just wild, isn't it? That, folk will say stuff about the gaming industry, but you have to understand that many of us, I won't speak for anybody, but like myself, I really enjoy, studying and watching a lot of, what's going on in terms of gamers and gamer behaviors. It's a very, very interesting piece for me to be able to go ahead, and engage in. So this particular conversation of exclusives matter and all that, you're just arguing something that PlayStation has already abandoned. You said exclusives still matter to PlayStation and Nintendo. No, exclusives matter to Nintendo. PlayStation cosplay as if exclusives matter. Did you not see on top of the 75 million console sales how their own software sales dipped? Did y'all see that? Their software sales dipped. If you truly believe that it's those exclusives that are dipping in sales that are moving the consoles, then I don't know what bridge I can sell you, because it's just not the reality from what we can see from the data anyways. You said Xbox and Steam don't lead the industry. Steam is a part of a decentralized piece of the PC market. The PC market, on the other hand, bodies the console industry. And we got the data from Matthew Ball's presentation that he put up this year. You can say that in the comment section, but then we can go look at the data that's available to us and see that your comment and the data are in contrast to one another. That, I think, ladies and gentlemen, is how we need to approach this conversation so that we can get to the truth of the matter. Yes, VG is not a fan of exclusivity. I get it. But then at the same time, when I look and see PlayStation selling or trying to sell the same game to its community and to its audience twice, what do you think my conclusion is going to be? Were the sales not enough for you? You need more money? Are you looking for a new audience, or are you trying to, oversell your already existing audience? Then your exclusives and their sales and what they actually provide and represent seemingly are not satisfactory to you. So PlayStation themselves are behaving in a way that they truly think exclusivity, and they can't trust their own audience to buy their exclusive games. So just think about it that way. It's not a matter of dogma. It's not a matter of just basically believing something and, saying, oh, just because you're not getting the games they want, then exclusives matter. No, in the Nintendo side, we're not getting those games at all. I mean, you gotta, you know what I mean? You can't, you know what I mean? But just because you're not getting those games, that makes it an exclusive. It's almost it's imperative that you buy a Nintendo platform. But it's not imperative that you buy a PlayStation. And the reason it's not imperative is because they were just oversold. PlayStation has always been a third-party box. It really had always been. But, it got championed as this, thing that, you could play these exclusives just like Nintendo. Well, it's never been like Nintendo. Never has. Never will be. And so let's go ahead and look at the reality from that. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Peace out.